I'm so excited to share this day with you all and to collaborate with one of our dear friends, Kelly Anderson. We first came together actually by coincidence with her husband, and I felt really called to connect with Kelly, working in a similar way from heart as us and from the foundation of her faith and conviction that these need to be in every home, like we all believe, but also to help elevate people to live really and dynamically every single day who they're meant to be, right? Like not hiding behind the shadows. So I love how Kelly reaches the world. I love how she touches them. She's had lots of entrepreneurial success that I could share with you, but what really sings to me is how much they serve, what they give with their orphanages and other new charities they've done. They serve unconditionally. And this to me means more than anything. They are presidential diamonds, and to me they epitomise what it is to be a presidential diamond, which is to live in your heart and come from your heart, and from that place you serve. And I believe she does this unbelievably. So thank you so much for joining us. Kelly is here for us. I'm going to tell you that. She has a very small team here. And she came across to collaborate and make some magic together and create miracles together to serve not only her team, but the greater doTERRA Tree of Love. So thank you, Kelly Anderson.
It's a privilege. Thank you so much, everyone, for this honor of being with you. I was interviewed by one of my team leaders, Quinn Curtis, and it was just a phone recorded team training. But it was like the heavens opened. Like it was like powerful experience for both of us. We were supposed to video it, but we couldn't get the video working, and it was really divine that it didn't. Because you know when you're on video, you start to think about body and I don't know, how am I looking in this moment? I don't know. But when you're just audio and you can just speak from the heart and the soul, like for me at least, I'm not as comfortable on video as I am in audio. And so we just connected and delivered this message. And this is not really necessarily mine. This is what the heavens provided in the moment. And I was I have the ability to be the instruments for that, to come forward based on a principle that I believe is the number one key to our success, which is enrolling leaders to enroll. And a lot of people say, well, how do I find leaders? And just scratch that out of your vocabulary. We don't say, how do I find leaders? We find leaders who enroll. Because if you're going to have a massive impact, you need to find people who also have influence and who want to make a difference in the world. And it takes the same amount of time to share with a consumer who's ill, maybe even more time, than someone who is a mover and shaker in your community, who already has a network, who already has reach, who already has trust, who already has a voice. And when you influence that person, they start to feel amazing, right? And they start to share, and then it just exponentially grows your business. So this is the kind of the key principle of this booklet and the message today that I'm going to share with you, because it really is the one. Sorry, I need to not wear dresses when I'm teaching because there's no place to put the thing. So, anyways, this is kind of the message and the point of why we can create bigger, faster, swifter, right? So we look at someone like Paul and Vanessa. They were business owners before doTERRA. He had a construction business. Vanessa, she's been in the raw food coaching, aromatherapy, all these different things they've done before. They were not just starting the business as, elites, basically. They had already been in business before. And not to discourage anyone who this is their first go with business, but go enroll someone who's had 15, 20 years experience in business, right? Because then you will learn something from them, and you will be able to grow your business quicker. So how do we do this? As Vanessa already mentioned, we show up to serve, and AKA, Vanessa's secret is love, right? I would say that love is behind all service, correct? And when you ask Vanessa how she's been able to build her business, she says love, right? How many of you have heard her say that? You're like, okay, great, but I'm not you. I'm not like an angel in temporary physical earth form, but maybe we are, all right? We all have different gifts and talents. We just don't look, ours doesn't show up like her or Paul, it shows up as us, right? So here's Vanessa's formula, okay? This is what she does. So she nourishes the mind, body, and spirit of those people that she's serving, right? She teaches aromatic dressing. How many of you have been served by that? All of us, right? And this beautiful way to display it too. So I just love that she's helping to heal the heart, right? And when we heal the heart, then people have the ability to serve outward. And then she fills their bellies, right, with fresh and organic, beautiful food. How many of you have eaten at her table or had her food or been attended a workshop? Do you feel loved, right? Yes. She's got recipes with oil baking. And then I love her daughter, Ariel. Where is she?
Just behind.
Oh, sweetie, come here. So this little sweetie came and snuggled me this morning in my bed, and I was doing this page, this slide, Enrolling. And I said, well, who knows her best, right? It's Ariel knows her mommy. So I gave some quotes, and I just want to read what you told me. Okay. You don't want to? Okay. Well, we're going to read them together. So Vanessa Jean loves people for who they are. Agreed? Yes, she does. She never pushes people to do something. She offers and is nice to them. She doesn't rush and cares about their feelings and what they think as well. And this is from her daughter. That's so true. So it's true, because I've known her for a couple of years. This is how she shows up, right? It's how we've been able to be a part of this. So whether you're on her team or someone else's team and you're here in this space, it's because she cares about you. And so does Paul, and that's what they represent. So there's a real life in action how the formula works. So they're doing what Richie Norton, who's a best-selling author, has taught, which is the START formula. Which number one is you serve, right? You serve the people that you want to influence and to love. And then the next thing is you thank them. You thank them for whatever it is their gift is that they're offering to you. That everyone has value, right? Everyone has something to contribute. What can you see in that person that is appreciated? Tell them. Express this to them. And then ask. And that is anything. Ask them if they want to try a sample. Ask them if they want to come to a class. Ask them if you can serve them. Ask them if you can, have them over for dinner and have your diffuser running, right? Just ask them something. Just to start to see if they start to reciprocate. Because if they reciprocate, you will receive something. If they're not ready to reciprocate with you, go back to the beginning and serve them some more. And then thank them. Just keep doing that, and eventually you're going to earn what? Something to receive, and then that trust will be there. But people only do business with those they know, like, and trust, right? So we won't be able to enroll anyone in this business, let alone do business with them and ask them to be our business partner, if they don't feel from our heart that we're sincere and that we're willing to serve them without expectation and without, some kind of parameters around what we're going to receive. So this is a quote that's actually from my booklet. We can all create exactly what we want, and if you want a specific type of leader, go for it. Let's make things simpler and laser focused and get good results and keep advancing. You can do this, decide. I like to remind people that this is your business to design it how you wish, right? On purpose. We're not just going to, oh, wow, I have some consumers, which of them want to do business with me? No, it's not how it works. If you want to do well, you need to think of the people on your team as potential, there are leaders within that group. It's great. But go find the leaders you want to put on your team and be proactive about it. Okay, so I don't know what I meant with that. What are your gifts? Okay, so what I wanted to say about this is how do you serve others? Okay, so we know how Vanessa serves. We don't know how our friends and family serve, but how do you serve? What are your gifts and talents? And how can you shine? Okay, so take a moment now and write down what are a couple of your gifts and talents. How do you nurture? How do you serve? What do people compliment you on? That is often an indicator of your gifts and natural ability. Maybe you're a really good listener. Listening is a wonderful way to serve people. Maybe you make a fabulous smoothie. That's a great way to serve people, right? Okay, so take a moment and think about that. So we know that mindset is a big deal in this this business, right? I always tell people it's 80%. So if you don't decide you're going to be a diamond, if you don't decide you're going to enroll leaders to enroll, then you need to shift that, right? And click that into place. So here's a few that I love is I enroll leaders to enroll. I am an oil biz rock star, seeking oil biz rock stars. I'm actually giving away a couple of t-shirts that say that today. I have a book coming out. Yeah, isn't that fun? Yeah, thank you.
That's part of the graphic today.
Yeah. So I have a book coming out in the next month or so called Find Your Next Rock Star in 4 weeks. And this is the #1 mantra of that book. Is that if you haven't decided already that you're an oil biz rock star, then it's time to decide. And I don't care if you started a week ago or 2 years ago, if you haven't decided that, you're not going to attract any, okay? Because why would an oil biz rock star want to join a team without an oil rock star leading, right? You've got to be that, you've got to, represent that. Oh wait, and this one, I like powerful questions. Why is it that I always attract strong and powerful leaders who are ready to build and share doTERRA? Because if you ask the powerful questions, these are called affirmations. You guys heard of this? So it's the questions of what you want to become true. So affirmations is I'm claiming, affirmation is the question. And so I love this question. I've said this for probably 6 years now. Why is it that I'm always attracting people to buy diamond kits? I sold 3 this week. Wow, amazing, right? Well, it's because I decided that I could. There's a big shift. Why is it that I'm always having a packed class? Start to find ways to make that true. The subconscious wants you to speak truth. So, speak what you want today. So I love this. If you haven't personally enrolled in a while, it's time to get enrolling again. A lot of people, when they get to be even silver, unfortunately, they think that it's time to start coaching and managing their team. But if you're not actively engaging and enrolling leaders to enroll, then it's going to be very difficult for your team to believe you, that you can keep leading them and trusting you if you're not actively sharing your stories of how you've been recruiting and how you've been building. So this is really true. You've got to keep that momentum, enthusiasm strong so your team sees you as an example. So what do leaders look like? Leaders to enroll. Why don't you spend some time in Leadership Magazine? I know you guys can get that either online or in printed form, and you can read the stories of those people who have become diamonds and above. And what does that look like? What were they doing before? What attracted them to the doTERRA story? So I interviewed on the Blue and Prism Diamond Facebook page about 50 people who did my little survey. And 30 out of 50 had done something in business before. As I mentioned, these guys were also in business before. So was I. I was a business coach before doTERRA. And I love to help people to go through and achieve their goals, right? Well, what a perfect match. Finding a business coach who we are, and then put that with the doTERRA piece, it's a win. And so I personally recruit business coaches. That's the best way to grow an independent team. Choose someone who loves to set and achieve goals. I like the 4 H's. Healthy. I want someone who's healthy already, right? Someone who's happy. Someone who's honest that I can trust and they can trust me. Someone who's hungry for this opportunity. And if you do all 4 of those, it's a total home run. Because if we don't work with someone who already is exuding joy and opportunity and who is going to show up and do what it takes, it's going to be very difficult for us to grow our businesses. So I want you to take a moment now and to jot on your piece of paper, what are some of the qualities and characteristics that you're looking for in a future leader? And I don't care if you are brand new or you are, diamond or above, you need to be constantly looking for leaders. There's always someone on your team who could use some more strength in the organization. And so take a time now and consider some of those qualities and characteristics. Maybe reflect on people you admire in doTERRA or in the business world. What are the things that they do? They're proactive, right? They're always looking for ways to better themselves. They're going to workshops and seminars, and they're reading and nurturing their body, mind, and spirit. They know how to inspire others. They know how to lead a team. They know how to accomplish goals. They know how to make money. I want to work with people who know how to make money already. Maybe they fundraise for something, great. Even Ariel, she was like upselling you guys, right, on the raffle tickets. And she knows how to make money. Okay, she's going to be very successful in her life because she knows how to ask powerful questions. She knows how to upsell, which is great. She's comfortable with people, right? What have you learned throughout your life about people that have characteristics that you admire, that you want to attract? Okay, so now I'm going to have you think about business owners that you already know. This is something you can continue doing at home as well, but just for the next 2 minutes, I want you to think of small business owners who have businesses with maybe 5 or less employees. Okay, we're not trying to go recruit someone who has an organization with 100 employees. That'd be very difficult for us to get them. They might be able to add doTERRA to what they're doing, but I'm looking for someone who could make doTERRA a main thing. And so someone who has 2 to 5 employees probably would consider eventually coming over, right? There has been stories of people who've walked away from 100-plus employee businesses to do doTERRA, but I would say most business owners are in that small 2 to 5 range. Paul, how many employees did you have?
Yeah, usually like
30. Okay, here's an exception. But he wasn't also doing this first, right? Vanessa was doing it first. How many employees did you have?
Me.
By the time I did this, I just had one assistant.
Yeah, so 1 assistant. So she was in that 2 to 5, So she was really recruited first, and then as she was able to make this profitable, then Paul was able to come along, right? So my husband was a home theater business owner. He would help install, design home theaters, and he had between 2 and 3 part-time, freelance kind of people that he'd work with. And same, I was working my business coaching job. I had an assistant and a partner. So it's just like 3 of us. And then when I was able to make it 6 figures with doTERRA Diamonds, then Matt was able to come along and lead his other business. So it really takes someone who has that vision of let's get this done to go first in a partnership. Usually it's not both jumping in, unless they've got some awesome savings or something. So here's some industries to consider. Any fitness, natural health fields, salons, spas, gyms, pet care, realtors, life and business coaches, teachers, therapists, artists, boutique owners, daycare centers, bloggers, sale reps, cafes. There's so many, right? We could make a very long list of people who own these types of businesses who would be very open to adding doTERRA to what they're doing. So I'm going to tell you 3 stories of people that I've enrolled recently. One of them was my daughter's teacher last year. I happened to give her a Holiday Joy oil and a glass spray bottle for Christmas just as a gift, as a thank you, with no expectation, attachment, and very little follow-up, to be honest. I just gave it to her and said thank you, happy holidays kind of thing, you know. About a month later, I realized she probably didn't even know what to do with that. And I probably should follow up and be like, I know it's February now, but did you know what to do with that? And she said, yeah, you know, I put it in there, and it was nice and aromatic, and it was like a 2-second conversation in passing. And then towards the end of the school year, my daughter literally begged me, and I feel bad about this, but she begged me like at least 3 times to be a parent chaperone for her class field trip to this. It's like it's called This Is the Place Heritage Park, and it's for celebrating the pioneers of Settled Utah. Okay. And she goes, it's going to be really fun, Mom. You can dress up as a pioneer. and I was like, no, I don't think so. And then I'll dress up as a pioneer too. And then you go as parent chaperone. And then you can be with my class. And I was like, I don't really want to do that. You know? But she asked at least 3 times, and she said, unless you're going Presidential Diamond, then you have no excuse. And so I was like, okay, I'm going, right? Well, it was really sweet, and we show up we drove our own car and met the school bus there at the place. And I get out of the car, and I'm the only parent dressed, right? Bonnet, bow, apron. It was like awesome, right? And I looked like I was a worker there, you know, not like a parent. And my daughter she was same, braids, bonnet, little, and she was so proud and so excited. And we see the teacher, she's not dressed up, you know, none of the classmates. My daughter was like, there was 3. I'm like, I didn't really notice. I didn't know myself. I was feeling, and I was like, well, do I take all it off? I mean, I didn't know what to do. I was like, I'll just go with it. This is important to her. So I talked to some of the other parents, and at lunch there was a couple possible leads with doTERRA, but I wasn't trying. You know, it was just like, oh, maybe I should keep in touch with that person or whatever. Didn't even talk to the teacher until like the last 10 minutes of the field trip. And I just happened to say, what are your holiday plans? You know, school is ending. What are you going to do this summer? And to be honest, the teacher wasn't like someone I had really connected well with. Like, we weren't like, oh, you know, we're going to keep in touch. You know what I mean? But I just wanted to ask her, just to be courteous, you know, what are your holiday plans? And she said, well, I'm going to Portugal on a biking tour with my husband. And I was like, wow, that's really neat. We're going to Europe too. And I just happened to slip out. And we'll be doing some doTERRA classes in Italy and some other places in Europe. And she was like, wow, this is actually a moneymaker for you. And I was like, yeah, it is. And I just felt to say, you know what? I would love for you to make additional income with doTERRA. Like, if you have interest in this, because her eyes were just like, wow, we could make money at this? And I just said, kind of boldly, like, I make more than you make in a year and a month. And I just felt to say it, because I wanted her to know that there was endless potential for this, and that I would want her to be a part of that. And she just was like, are you kidding me? Like, do you know how hard I work? And I said, I know, it's not fair. Join my team. And I just was bold, because I knew we had like very seconds, you know, to say it, and sometimes I'm just a little bold like that. I mean, once you start making money, you've got to let people know that there's potential, right? And she goes, let's have lunch. And so we did a couple of days later, and she was very, very interested in doTERRA as a business. I knew like she could do it. She single-handedly, with her husband, got one of the Olympic sports, winter sports, into the Olympics. because her daughter was a long-distance ski jumper. And at the time, when her daughter was 7, they only had it for boys. And she said, this isn't fair, living in Park City, Utah. Her daughter was into it competitively. She goes, my daughter's going to go all the way. We need to have this as an Olympic sport. And so she and her husband, they worked for about 10 years to make it an Olympic sport. Her daughter was Olympian. Yeah, she still is. She'll be an Olympian again. She's like 20-something. But it's just like, she's that kind of person, you're like, she can do anything, right? And I knew that she would be someone to be very powerful in doTERRA. So we had this lunch. She was about ready to buy a diamond kit, and then about 2 days later, she said, no, I'm not going to do anything. Maybe I'll buy a couple oils retail, but I don't even know what essential oils are really, and I need to research other brands. And my heart just sank. I was like, are you kidding me? She was just like, I need to take time. And so I just let her be, let her where she was at, and then we both went to Europe. And at the end of Europe, she called me and she said, I'm ready to go. And she only did the home essentials kit, even though she had thought about the kit before. So I'm like, okay, she's still very, very apprehensive, but I knew she would be interested. So I said, you want to come to the convention? I bought her a ticket, and we live in Utah, so it's easy for her to come. She came to convention, and after convention, she called me and she goes, I made a mistake. I need to upgrade my kit to a diamond kit. And so doTERRA allowed her to upgrade and get the points and everything. And guess what? She just enrolled someone with a diamond kit.
Yeah, wow.
And so, like, it's just amazing, right? It took some patience. It took a little time. It took, and so my daughter, Bella, who's 10, she got an amazing fast start for that. I said, what do you want to do? Your teacher just got a diamond kit. We went to the zoo, and we went shopping. She got some Legos. And, she's so proud that her teacher, decided to doTERRA. Another story is, you guys have Uber in Australia, right? So at the end of that European trip, I am a little mad at my husband because he stayed in Oregon. So we were flying back from Europe. I was totally done with our Europe trip. After like 7 weeks with family, you're like, so I'm flying back to Utah. I'm going to settle in our new place, and he took the kids to a friend's house in Oregon. But he got me on a flight coming in at midnight in Utah. And that is not my favorite time to ride at all. And my brother was out of town. I didn't really want to ask any of my friends to pick me at the airport at midnight. I didn't really know what to do. I was just like, fine, I'll just take Uber. And I was feeling a little like mad, complaining kind of experience. But I have this little thing with God that when I see 12:12, it's like his little urging, like, trust me, go forward, like, you're on the right path. And so I noticed that when I did the Uber, and he texted me that he arrived, it was 12:12. And I was like, okay, this is my connection here. So I had courage and I sat in the front seat. Granted, I don't usually do that. It was a man, first of all. I don't know him. But I just felt the trust. And I just went, okay, God, let's go on this ride together, be with me. And first of all, his name really startled me. His name is God Will Echo. Yeah. He's from Ghana. And I had just finished a $10,000 fundraiser with Healing Hands match for Ghana women with these Healing Hands. And so I was like, okay, he's from Ghana. His name is God Will Echo. And I'm in it's 12:12 in the front seat, and I just poured it on. I was like, I just came out of Europe. I'm like trying to get him excited about, it's like, what do you do that you can go to Europe for 7 weeks with your family? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to essential oils. And he's like, you know what? I gave someone a ride at convention last year, and they gave me a sample. They never followed up. And I always wondered about what those things are, if you can actually make money with it. Well, we had a lot of things in common. He actually was a member of my church too, and just like everything was aligning. We were talking about miracles and everything. We missed our exit, to take me to my friend's house. But I didn't care, and he gave me the key. And it was, just great. And I knew that he, at some level, would join my team. So again, I followed up with him. Matt and I went with he and his wife to dinner and served them, and I wanted him to see, like, this is potential. Like, you could do this. He's like 28 years old. He was going to school to be a computer programmer, smart kid, very talented, just needed some extra income, right? He was driving Uber 12 hours a day. I know. And we learned that his green card as a student was kind of messed up, and so Uber was going to turn that off pretty soon. He had like days left to do that. So we actually invested in a kit for them, a Natural Solutions kit. And I don't usually do that, but I just feel like their circumstances were such that they needed stuff. And I told them that they could give their LRP to me until that was paid off. So they would be shipping their LRP to me. So we'll see how that goes. But regardless, like, they have the oils in their home now, right? And I also felt to bring him again to convention. I paid for his ticket. And it was like one of those moments at convention where I'm at the Healing Hands Ghana booth, and this woman who I had done the service project with, her name is Ann Webb, she has the Center of Empowering Women in Ghana. And then here walks up God Will Echo, and I'm like, okay. All right, we got Ann Webb, who's the one working in Ghana, we've got God Will and me, and we took, photos together. And I'm like, this was why he's here. It has nothing to do about his hair. And the fact that he's going to liberate himself and his family and bring this to Africa. And his wife is from the Dominican Republic, and our orange comes from the Dominican Republic. And so there's all this little connection. And I was at the end of his 14th day was 3 days after convention. And I was going to put him on a team under, actually, I was going to put him under the teacher. And I thought, that would be great. I'll help her. He'll have someone in Utah to work with. And God was like, nuh-uh. 12-12, all these things that I showed you, he's on your front line. And I was like, are you kidding me? Professor Diamonds, I don't know if I really want to do this again. We'd already talked about this, and it's really a lot of work. And it's like, yeah, you are. Because it's not about the money, it's about liberating. And I just am so excited for him, and because I know that he's going to have massive influence. And this weekend, he's texting me and sharing the notes of a conference he's at to develop himself as a mentor and a coach. I'm like, way to go. And I was asking what books he's reading. He's reading Hart Becker's Millionaire Mind. I mean, he's on it, right? He is an enrolling leader who will enroll. And I'm excited to support him. And in the yoga class, I had just in the spring left England, helping the team there. And so, you have teams, and then you have your personal enrollments, right? So I was helping a team of ours with their London, Bath, England team. Beautiful, beautiful team. I was so happy to support them. But as I was leaving London, which is my favorite city, I just said to God, I want a London leader. Like, I want one for me, right? And just said that, kind of left. And then a week later, I was in Sayulita, Mexico, and just had this little quiet voice, like, bring that serenity to the yoga class and use it in Shavasana, and then you're going to find someone. I'm like, okay. So I did it, and literally just putting that serenity all over me, going like this, closing my eyes, and like on cue, at the end of the class, this woman turns to me and she says, oh my gosh, what is this aroma? Like, what are you using? And I just handed it to her. She goes, I could sell the heck out of that. And I'm like, what are you? Who are you? And she said, she's Zoe from London. And I just was like, okay, God, thank you so much. And so Zoe from London, who's moving to Mexico, is on our team now. And it's just so fun how, if you set that intention, God will surprise you in miraculous ways. I could go on and tell you crazy other stories that I have, and some of them are in my booklet, but I just love that this is the treasure hunt. We're not just digging through the people in our lives who are sick and afflicted, seeing who of you want to rise up and be a leader. It's like, no, I'm going to go on a different path and find the leaders who are ready to serve and who are ready to bless. And we will help the people who are sick and afflicted. That's great. But some of them are not ready to lead. They need to take care of their mind, body, and spirit first and do their work, and then they will have the time to do it later. So here's some strategy. When you have your list of business builders, here's some questions, and we can give you guys a copy of this, but honestly, you've got to do your homework. You've got to find out what is their industry, what do they do that could incorporate the oils very well, and how could they shine, right? What could they do to incorporate this or use it well? How do you see them adding the oils into their work? What are some ideas of how to approach them? And most business owners need two things: energy and less stress. Agreed?
Absolutely.
And they need a lot of self-care. So if you would help them, just assume they want more energy and less stress, you're going to have a home run with that. Okay? So if you approach business owners with that question, is how can I help and support you to have more energy and less stress? Most of them will respond. And that is a great way to start. So here's some assignments. You got to be a pro. You got to network with pros. Okay. You got to complete your job description. Read often. Pray about it. Meditate on it. Identify your niches, industries that complement your product. Go nourish yourself. Go to retreats, conferences, workshops. Whatever fuels your soul, you're going to meet people who it's like a like, right? If you love to go to art classes, go to art classes. You're going to meet people there. And you can start putting oils in your paintings and things like that. Identify the influencers around you and get to know them, serve them, share with them. Share samples with your list of your business owners and spend 50% or more of your time finding and recruiting leaders. This is really where you should spend the bulk of your time. Truly. If you thought of yourself as a professional recruiter and you're going to be paid millions of dollars, which Presidential Diamond income is, you're just going to get paid on the way, right, to be building that. You need to be spending most of your time recruiting people who could be CEOs of a business. So, you feel adequate? You are. You are ready. And it's just a matter of identifying what are your skill sets and your gifts that will allow you to flourish and to grow so you can attract these people. And then what are the things that maybe the holes in your organization? Maybe you really want someone who's awesome at graphic design. Go recruit a graphic designer. You know, maybe you want someone who is incredible at technology, who can run the live streams for your events. Go recruit one. You know, what are the holes that you need so that your community can rise up? Oh, gosh, sorry. I keep doing this. Okay, so here's some ways you can introduce yourself. I guess some of the PowerPoint was like not fitting on the slide, that's why I was doing it. But here's some things that I say. So I'm Kelly, and I teach people how to take their health from good to great using essential oils. Completely compliant to say good to great, right?
Yeah.
I'm Kelly, and I serve others with natural health remedies. Do you have any health goals that I can serve you or support you with today? I use the business coach one a lot because I'm a business coach. If you're at least a silver, I'd say you can say you're a business coach because you're coaching elites, right? You've been able to get 3 people to elite level, 3,000 a month. That's awesome. That's a business coach. So I'm a business coach. I help people create additional income. Do you know anyone who is looking to make an extra $500 a month? People can relate to that number. They can't relate to thousands of dollars a month, right? So just say, I'm looking for people who want to make $500 bucks. Who doesn't want to make $500 bucks? I do. Okay, so here's how you approach people. Some of this is very, very simple. Would it be okay if I offered you a natural health remedy for that head tension you have? I'm just curious if you've ever tried essential oils. I'm just curious if you've heard of doTERRA. I'm just curious if you'd be interested in coming over to the farmer's market this Saturday when we have a booth. I'd love to give you a sample. I'm just curious if you would like to use some Serenity on your daughter's feet to help her have longer naps. I mean, parents love that one, right? You strike me as the type of person who uses natural health remedies. That one works every time. Because if you see someone who may be open, say that. Like, you strike me as the type of person. They feel complimented. They feel like, you're right, I am. And they want to rise to that. And would you be open to, I know Paul Vanessa like that one too. Would you be open to natural health remedies? Would you be open to making an additional $500? Would you be open to adding the essential oils into your salon? I really admire you because when you put together this event, I saw this leadership quality in you that I'm looking for in my business. Would you consider adding an additional income stream to your life? I've been thinking about your big dream to travel the world with your family. And I'm just curious if you've ever considered an extra income to make that possible. Like, how awesome is that? That's actually the line that Natalie Goddard used for me. It is true. So she knew my dream was to travel the world and serve a mission with our family. And I'll share more about that in the next session that I do. But she knew what we wanted. And she hit that and knew that we didn't have a financial way to make it possible. So that was a big one for me. So when you have these people in your life, these influencers, it takes time, right? The teacher took about 4 months plus to nurture, right? Being creative with people, allowing busy business owners to just go at their pace. VIP service all the way. Serve them. Thank them. Ask them little mini questions. See if they reciprocate and if you receive. And then build that relationship of trust. And then in time they will. So you guys know these sales statistics, right? So 40% of sales of people never follow up. 25% of sales people only make a second contact and stop. 12% of sales people only make 3 contacts and stop. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. 3% of sales are made on the second contact. 5% of sales are made on the third contact. 10% of sales are made on the fourth contact. But 80% are made on the fifth. So what if you did those 4 things before they got to your class or your event, right? You had that initial interaction, and you do a text or a phone call, and then you bring over a sample, and then you send them a video. And by the time you go to the class, they are ready to go. Okay? There's so many things you can do. Here's some expectations for enrolling leaders. This is what the basics for me. If they're going to be considered a business builder out the gate, these are questions that I ask them. If they would do 150 LRP by the 15th of the month, 8 to 10 hours a week working on business, doing revenue producing activities, sharing, teaching, enrolling. Weekly mentoring with someone who's silver, rank or above. 2 to 3 events a month, and personal development. So these are things that they can expect from me. The mentor makes themselves available for weekly mentoring and support. This is okay in a group, okay? And really, truly, I don't believe anyone should be mentoring unless they're at least a silver. So if you're not a silver, start going up to your upline and say, please help me and my team to do my group mentoring. Because you don't know how to do proper placements. You don't know how to properly, align other people's teams when they enroll. It's really frustrating for people. They don't have proper placements in the beginning stages. And so you've got to get with someone who can help. Help them to be confident by teaching, the first few events. This makes the world of difference for people. And what I do is I do the first one for them, the second one with them, like you might split it up. The third one they'll go and they'll teach it and I'll just do the close. And then I might go again just to see how they're doing. But I don't usually do more than 3 events for someone unless there's a real reason why. Most people can get it, within 3 times. Help them feel supported and part of the community. This is really, really big. Help them understand that you will build with them and not for them, because you want to have clarification that you're not going to just people put them. I had a leader who asked me how many people I stack for other people. Stack? I don't stack. I mean, it was just the weirdest question, and I was like, oh, no, build your team, but I was just maybe, if I feel like there's a good fit, I might recommend, right? Being a cheerleader is really, really the key thing in what we do. And then recognizing that we're always developing our team, right? They're like an orchard. You're going to help them to grow where they're planted and help them to flourish. You're going to help them to up-level and stretch and help them to develop their clear why and be positive and show gratitude, edify and compliment their progress, and teach them to create massive action. So if we don't teach people what it really takes to become silver even, then we're doing them a disservice. It takes a lot of initial work, right? And don't water it down, right? You gotta be honest. This is what it's gonna be. If you want to do a very minimal work, then you just expect minimal results. If you want to really go for it, you put the time in. So with your leaders, to help them move along, I do recommend the Facebook groups or communities for consumers and then also for builders. So people have places to go with their questions, right? And set aside time to play as a team as well as work together. Some of the best trips I've had with my leaders is taking them shopping or getting a pedicure, or taking them to lunch, or cleaning out their closet, or spending time with their children, or going camping together. Just playing time will build more trust and friendship, which will further the business more than anything. Help them to feel that they can lead and give them a platform where they can teach and share. So in my early doTERRA days, I made a lot of mistakes with some of my leaders where I didn't give them enough credit for their awesome abilities, and it really hurt that relationship. And so I've learned the hard way, really do allow people to step into the stage, into the opportunity, and sit down, let them do it. Give them a chance to share from their heart too. So I love this quote: enrolling leaders to enroll is the key to my success. And if you have that mindset, I know that it will bless your businesses exponentially. It's supposed to say dear friend at the top of that, but dear friend, if you don't realize it, please know you are an influencer. And you're here because you've been seeking this opportunity. This is your time to shine. Enjoy creating your miracles. Kelly.